Now, also explained in okay, but what, so that's one method. That's one method. What are methods? Where that? So what? Okay. To the to the value. Mr. Samuel, what are methods, sir? To element. What element? What element? Just simple data or data types. I told you that your array is a data type. What type of data type? Non-primitive. What are non-primitive data types? Do you understand it now? Now, why is your array non-primitive? Your array is non-primitive because it has multiple data type, multiple primitive data type inside of it, or single primitive data type. What am I saying? It has what? String. You can also have what? Boolean. You can have undefined, you can have numbers. Do you understand it now? It is a non-primitive data type that was created to depend on what? The primitive data type. So anything from your array is also what? A data. Do you understand it now? So now you now have what? Array methods. Array methods help you modify your arrays. So what am I saying modify? You can add, you can delete, right? And you can also what? Modify. So add, delete, can update your array, right? And you can edit your array. Now, we'll be talking about some of these methods. We're talking about push, we'll talk about pop, we'll talk about shift, and we'll talk about what? On shift. Now, what is push? What is pop? What is shift? What is on shift? So I'm going to start with what? Push. So when you say push, what do you mean by push? Basically, what push does is that what? It adds an element to the last part of an array. So let's say adds element at the end of an array. That's what push does. Pop, on the other hand, what does pop do? Removes an element or removes the element at the last part of the array. Or removes the last element in the array. That's what push does. Now, if you have shift, what will shift do? What will shift do? Shift will now remove what? The first element. In the array. Then what will shift do? What is it? Add the element to where? To anywhere in the array, right? Anywhere in the array. What about you? The changes. It's not anywhere. Start of the array. Are you sure? Why not anywhere? That's what you saw there. All right. So on shift, we will add elements to the beginning of the array. Add elements to the start of an array. Now that is what your push, pop, shift, and unshift will do for you. Now what am I saying? This is what I'm saying. So you have fruit. You have orange, pineapple, apple 20 and what? True. We'll talk about two more. The first is going to be slice. See? First is going to be slice. So slice extract or slice takes the elements of an array and add to a new array. Then let us go to splice. So you have what? Splice. So basically removes or replaces, okay, yeah, I think this is existing elements and adds new elements in place. So what it's saying is that what? So if you have a particular, is everyone here? If you have a particular array and use what? Array.splice, what happens? It is going to what? You can add new elements or replace elements in any position. That's what splice basically does. Now, let us get started with push. Now, I'm going to use this one throughout. You have fruit, right? What will we do? Add an element, right? I can now go ahead and I can say fruit. Let's say console.log, console.log, and I have fruits dot what push, and then I'm gonna have what mango. Now, what has this done? What will be the result here? What will be the result? Just spell it out for me. Exactly. That's what. No, now the killing on this one is not saying that what it's going to push it. It's not going to add. It's not going to replace. That one replaces. Now, one thing about that one is that I can just come here and say fruit. Right? Then I can now specify the index. So if I put one now, what is already in one? Pineapple, right? What happens to this? Pineapple is going to change to what? Grapes. But push is not removing anything as at now. Do you get it now? It's not actually removing anything as at this particular period. So what it's just saying is that it's just adding mango to the end. You can also do the same thing and say fruit, what's the index? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can say what? Fruit 5. Then I can now equate it to what? Mango. It's going to give you the same thing. Do you get it now? But in this case, push basically just adds to the last part of an array. That other one can add anywhere. First or last or middle. Do you get it now? That is basically what your fruit is. Now, if you check out this, you should have. Why is it 6? Oh, okay. So console of fruits.log push. Then I cannot go ahead and say what? Console.log fruits. Now I'm not even supposed to use console.log here. Now the problem now is it is printing the index of what? Of mango. If you notice, what are you saying? Right? It was print mango is. Now, but in this case, now when I say fruits of push, mango, what do you now have? What's that behind this? Now, instead of fruits, what we have? Orange, pineapple, apple, 22, and what? That's what you have. Do you get it? So this was what was printing out, the length. All right, so let us move on to pop. What will pop do? Pop will remove what? The last part of the array, right? So I can do the same thing. I can say um, fruit dot what? Pop. And I can have what? Console dot log. Now. So now this case you had mango, right? But yeah, what do you have now? Mango is no longer the Y. So you remove pop. Now you see that it's not just taken from the original array that we created. It automatically took from where the updated array. Now what am I saying? This is what I'm saying. I'm saying that right here now, what is the value of fruit here? Now, this pop is now what continuing from where this particular fruit stop. Then whatever this fruit is, whatever is going to be popping out from here, is going to be what? The last array of this particular fruit, which is now what? Orange, pineapple, apple, 20, true, and what? Mango. So what's the last part there? Good, it's going to remove mango out. That's what pop does. Now, push adds to the last part, pop removes from the last part. Is it clear? Now let us try something. Let us say shift. What does shift do? Remove the first element. On shift adds to the first element. So let us do that. So if we say fruits dot what? Shift, then you console.log what? Fruit. What exactly you have? So console.log fruit. So what do we have here? So what we have what? Now as you can see, you have orange here, right? But here, what do you have here? Pineapple is now number 1 or index 0, right? Right here, orange was at index 0, but right here now, pineapple is now at index 0, meaning the first part has been removed. Is it clear? Is it clear for everybody? Now, let us do shift and let us see what shift does. On shift, rather. So if I say fruits, then on shift, let us add grapes. So grapes, and I say console.log, and then you have what? Fruit. Fruit. So yes, we are doing this. We went out to the so you have what? Grapes, and then now, as you can see, pineapple. Now, there's one thing that is here now. As you can see, somehow, grapes keeps showing up in everything. Can I see it? Grapes. That means on shift has now automatically what? Added to everything. Now, although you will not see it here, originally here, what has just happened? Orange has been replaced by what? Grapes. Now that is basically what your on shift will do for you. On shift is saying that what you are removing, you are adding to the beginning of the array. So I can add as much elements that I want with what the on shift. I can have multiple things and I can add it. Do you get it now? That is what shift and on shift is all about. So shift and on shift is like the opposite of what pop and push. Keep on adding. So it does not remove. That's the difference with that other one that you were saying. So if you just add fruit 1 equals to what? Grapes, what happens? It removes that first one and adds something. Get it now. So that is now this is the proper method of what modifying, deleting or editing your array. Now we also have what we know as what splice, but I'm going to give us time to digest this and try and go through this. So you can go ahead and write this out and then or let us just do splice. Let's do splice. And then I'll give us time to write it. We'll do splice. Let's just finish up. So do splice and slice. So I'm going to start with what slice first. Slice is actually a much more easier thing to do. So what am I saying? So let's say this is how slice work, right? Slice is to say, okay, I'm going to take from I'm going to take from fruits, and I'm going to create a new array that says, okay, let me change this to, let me change this to other fruits. So let's change this to guava. Then let's change this to banana. Now, let's say I want to create an array of, okay, let me change this to tangerine. Now, let's say I want to create an array, and in that array, I want to have, I'm going to comment this out first. And in that array, I want to have citrus, fruits that are what? Citrus. So what am I saying? Fruits that have citrus. The orange has a citrus acid. Tangerine has citrus acid. Then also your grapes have citrus acid, right? Yes, it does. Yes, grapes. Yeah, your grapes has. Is it grape? Let's check it out. Yeah, lemon and lime. I know also grape also has citrus. Does grape have citrus? So let's check it out. So I need yes, but it's smaller from the exactly. But that's just one thing about grapes. I know that it does have citrus. So let us create a particular array that says citrus, but also takes from where this particular array. Do you get it? And I can say let citrus equals to what? Now, this is your fruit, right? Now, from which particular part does your this thing have citrus in? So your orange has what? Citrus, isn't it? Then your pineapple also has what? Citrus. Do you get it now? So one thing is that I can just take this out. Let me put it together so that it's easier for us to carry. So let's say I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it here. So now let us try it out. So you have what? Your orange and tangerine beside each other. Now, if we have let citrus equals to what? Your orange is from which position? 0, right? So you have 0, 1. I think pineapple also has citrus. I doubt that. So that's 0 and 0, 1, right? So you have what? Let us check it out. I think pineapple has citrus. So let's check. Yeah. Yeah. Citric acid. Good. So it does have citrus. So now, orange, pineapple, and what? Apple. Somehow I still feel like apple also has citrus. Yeah. Apple also has a citric. Yes. So let us check apple. Apple also has citric acid. Exactly. Very little. So basically, even guava. So let us check it out. No, I don't think guava does. So let us check it out. I don't think guava does. Guava actually has citric. You know what? Let us talk about. Let me add banana. So banana, I don't think banana has citric. So let us check it out. Let us check it out. No, let us be very, very careful. This is a learning. Oh, okay. So yeah, mango we definitely have. Mango has, right? Mango will definitely have citric acid. Okay, let us check fruits that don't have citric acid. That have citric acid. Exactly. So exactly. Very little citric acid. I think they're saying fruits without or with very little citric acid. So watermelon, let us use watermelon and avocados. And coconut. Hey, imagine coconuts. Let us use coconuts. Coconuts should not even have coconut. All right, so let us have something like this. So you're going to have orange, tangerine, pineapple. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Now, What I'm going to do is I'm going to create another array here that says what? So this array is not there's something called destructuring arrays. So what am I saying? So as you can see now, okay, let me just leave this first. Let me just leave this first. So I can now say fruits dot what slice dot slice. Now it starts from where? 0, right? That's 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right? So I can now have what? From 0 to what? 0 to what? 5. I explained this to you last time. Remember, so if something is coming at 4, it has to be 5, so that's what? It's going to what? Add. Now, good. So now you have what? Now, if you go ahead and you say console dot log citrus. So if you check this out, now you should have what? Now, as you can see, orange, tangerine, pineapple, apple, what, guava. A new array differently. Now, what if you want to still add to this particular array? How do you do it? Do you keep doing array dot on shift or array dot push? Yes. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now, what if you want to have more citric acid or citrus kind of fruit in this particular array? How do you do it? You can use on shift tab. You can use push. Isn't it? So you can use push to add. You can use on shift to add, isn't it? Now, instead of doing that, you can still do it as if you are creating an array like this. That is where array destructuring comes in. Now, array destructuring is saying that, okay, I want to pick from this particular array and add it to a new array, and as well as add other properties of my array. So what am I saying? So I'm saying that, what if you want to add more elements to this array? Add it. You can use what? Shift and on shift. You can use on shift and what? Push to add, isn't it? We're only going to add to the last part. What if you want to what? Have this particular element and at the same time still be able to write it in that same angle bracket? That's where array destructuring comes in. Now, array destructuring allows you to what? Have other arrays. That means destructure other arrays. Have other arrays inside of your what? Inside of the new array. So what am I saying? In this place right here, instead of having something like this, I can just come here and say, let citrus equals to what? Then I can have my array. Then I can put 3 dots and I can say fruits. So I can have fruits dot what? Splice, right? Then I can have what? 0, 5, right? And then I can have what? Lemon. I can also have what? Line. Now, if you check it out now, I've added to this particular array. But what did I just first do? I did what? These 3 dots to destructure the array first. These 3 dots basically means that you are destructuring this array. You're adding an array, taking a particular array from an existing array into a new array. So if you go ahead and you check it out now, what exactly I have? You're going to have what? Okay. Console.log citrus. So what are you going to have? You're going to have this. So as you can see, what do you have here? You have orange, you have tangerine, you have pineapple. Oh, this was a mistake. It's not supposed to be here. X, so, comma, you understand? Now, as you can see, it's the same thing with this. But the only difference is that I am carrying this, I am putting it here, right, comma, lemon, and what? Lime. So if you say this up, what do you have? Now you have what? Orange, tangerine, pineapple, apple, guava, lemon, and what? Lime. That's what the structuring does for you. So as you can see, if I fail to use these 3 dots at the front, now what will happen? What will happen is that what? This is not even going to work. You're only going to have what? Lemon and what? Lime. It's going to show you that what? Yes, you have an array that has what? That has 5, what's the name? 5 actually. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That has 5 elements, right? But it's not going to actually, now as you can see, it's not an array instead of another array. But if you use those three dots, what happens? It destructures it, making sure that it's part of the new array. Do you get it? Let me show you what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying now is that, as you can see, you have what? 0, 1, 2. Now, this value of 0 is the what? The first array they are trying to put inside of a new array, right? Meaning it's not exactly part of it. It is just a particular value, an array inside of what? Another array. It is not necessarily a value. To make it a value of the new array, you have to destructure it. Now, destructuring is usually what? The three dots. Do you get it now? That's basically what destructuring array is. Now, destructuring of array is very important. You need to understand how to destructure arrays. So what am I saying? If I come in and I had my three dots, and if you check it out, now it is now 7. Meaning that you not destructure it. You actually, are you losing the particular line now, pour it inside of the new container. That's what the three dots is all about. You get it now. And this is how you can destructure arrays. Is it clear? Is it clear? Are you sure it's clear? You have a new array. You want to explain that? Yes, you have a new array. You want to pick one particular array, values from one array instead of another array. To do that, you have to first of all, it's not just like saying I don't want to buy something. In the place I went to buy, they tied the nylon. You want to bring it to your house, you see the values, the item of the nylon. You have to lose it now. Losing the nylon, and you pour it on the table. You get it now. So that is what you destructure the nylon. That's what it is. But if you don't have the nylon on the table, what happens? That nylon is just one entity. But once you lose whatever it is you pour, you now have numerous entities that are added to the house. That's basically what it is. But if you do not destructure by having those three dots, it's just one entity. That's why you are seeing 0, 1, 2, 4. But now that you know how to destructure with the three dots, what do you now have? You have what? 7. That's what destruction of an array means. That's basically what it's saying. Now it's clear. So this is very important. Now, this thing that I just showed you, there is every tendency that they will not show it in this course. That's why I'm explaining it so that you understand. So that you do not see it later and be like, what is this? I've never seen it. No, this is how you destructure. Now, why do you have things? There's sometimes that you want to have arrays in arrays, or you want to have values from another value. So instead of creating a new value, you create it from existing users. So what am I saying? So for instance, you have you want to create a particular survey on your website, but there is a data. That data that you want has to be a data from user input, former user input, right? Now to have something like that, you have to destructure the answers that users have given before. Do you understand now? So you destructure those answers and use it to create a particular data that you want. Or just of course you've seen surveys before, or let us even leave surveys. You've seen let's say okay, good. How does AI actually give you its data? I've actually talked about it. How does ChatGPT give you its own answer? Good. So it takes data from here, takes data from all over source, right? And then it compiles it to give you a more reasonable answer. Now, instead of you go on Google now, before you go on Google AI, you go on Google and say you see various of what answers. But what ChatGPT did was that it now combined those answers to give you a more meaningful answer. So how did that happen? Basically, what it did was destructuring, combining several answers and was giving you a more simplified answer. You understand? Combining them, it structures them to give you a new array. That's basically what it is. That's like a more simplified version of what an array destructuring is. You get it now. Now, this is why you need to understand what array. Now, all of these things you understand it more when you start working on projects. It's very, very important. That's why I'm only saying this. Always work on exercises. Exercises will build you up for further projects, like much more what's the name? Complicated projects. That's what's going to be beautiful. So let me see if there's destructuring here. I doubt if there's destructuring. So no, there's no destructuring here. All right. So you can just still go ahead and check for destructuring. So destructuring is on W3 schools. You can check for destructuring there and see, and probably just learn. There's some practice questions there that you might be interested in. So try and practice them. Now, the last one, which is going to be what? Splice. So let us go into splice. Okay, let's leave here. So we understand slice now. Is slice clear? Oh, I think I even did splice before. I did splice. I said slice. Not splice here. 0, 5. So let's check it. Good. So the slice, you have what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You understand? What I did there was splice. Now, this is not the right way to do splice. Although you can do splice like this, it also works, but let us go into splice now. Now, I need you to know that this particular citrus array now, can you give me the values of the citrus array? Give me the values of this new citrus array right here. Eh? Are you sure? Orange, tangerine, pineapple, guava, and what? They have what? What and what again? Now, these are the new values. Now, what will splice do? Splice removes or replaces what existing elements or add new elements in place. So what am I saying? Let's say I want to remove tangerine from this place. Tangerine is not at the beginning. Neither is at the end. That would have said you use what? Shift and pop to remove. Tangerine is now what? The first index. That's 0, 1 on what in the array. How do I remove tangerine without pop and what? Shift. You use what? Splice. How do I also add what am I saying? How do I also add elements in the second part or in the middle? I use what? Splice. Now that's what splice is. Splice allows you to what? Remove and also add to any part of the array. So how do I do splice? Very easy. I can come here and I can say, citrus dot what? Splice. Now I want you to notice something. First of all, notice this. Splice takes a what? A number, that's the beginning. Now, the start is saying that where exactly is this thing going to be added? Which index is it going to be added? Is it going to be added at the index 0? Is it going to be added at index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5, depending on the index? That's the first thing. So if I put index 1 now, what is it going to remove? Right? Because why? That's where I want it to start. So if I put 1 here now, that means I want to remove tangerine. Now that's the first thing. The second one is what? Delete count. Delete count is also a what? A number. Now I need you to note the data type. I see it. Number. Here is a what? Number. Here is number. Then the rest of the elements cannot be a what? String. And the string is not only one. It can be inside of what? An array. That's what this thing is. I'm going to explain it practically. So you have what? Citrus or splice. Now, I want it to start at index 1, meaning I want to remove tangerine, right? Now, delete count means that how many of those this thing are you going to delete? From index 1, how many elements do you want to delete? Just tangerine, right? That means is what? How many? 1. So I'm going to put 1 also. Now, if I save this and I come back and I say console.log citrus, what am I going to have? Am I going to have what? Orange, pineapple, apple, guava, lemon, and what? Lime. So let us check it out. Let's see. So as you can see, orange, pineapple, apple, guava, lemon, and and also what add set. Now let's now say I want to add to that same spot in the array. How do I do it? Now that's where my string will now come in. Now I can now say comma. Let's say you want to add kiwi. I can now say what kiwi. Now what will happen now? The results now is now going to be what? What will be the result? Orange. Orange, kiwi, good. Because why? I've added it to the index of what? 1, and then I've removed what was there before, which was tangerine. Now it's now what? Kiwi. So it's now orange, kiwi. This one. No, it has to be inside of it. Inside. Now, you're then going to have what? Orange, kiwi, pineapple, apple, guava, lemon, and what? Lime. So if you check it out now, what do you have? Orange, kiwi, pineapple, apple, guava, lemon, lime. Do you understand it? Is it clear? Now, what if I now put 2 here? I'm going to tell you what will happen. I want you to think about it. Now, this first one is what? What does this first one do? The index, Abby. Second one is what? The deleted number, like the deleted index. So how many? I'm sorry, not deleted. How many elements you want to delete? Now, if I put 2 here now, what will be the output? Exactly. So it's going to delete what? Tangerine and what? Pineapple. If I put 3, it's going to delete tangerine, pineapple, and apple. If I put 4, tangerine, apple, pineapple, and guava. 5, lemon, 6, lime. Do you get it now? So if I come back here and check out, what do we have? Orange, kiwi, apple, guava, lemon, and lime. Now this is how splice works. So splice is saying that what? First of all, you need to put into consideration the index. Secondly, amount of things that you want deleted after that index, that index or after that index. Now, what if I put 0? So what will you have? Orange, kiwi, pineapple. Let's see what you have. See what okay. Stabilize, I don't try. That's how. No, just tell me what it's going to print out. Orange, apple, you need to print out orange, kiwi, no orange, tangerine, kiwi, pineapple, apple. Okay. That's the answer. Orange, kiwi, tangerine, pineapple, apple, guava, lemon, and lime. Why? Let me show you. Let's just check the answer. So what is it saying? Orange, kiwi first, not tangerine before kiwi. Kiwi before tangerine. Now, why is it like that? It is like that because we said citrus was splice. Then we are taking from where? We want to add kiwi to which index? 1. And then we don't want to delete anything. Meaning that what? Tangerine will not push to what? 2. Because we've added kiwi to the what? To the index of 1. Do you get it now? That's one thing about. So that's why splice is, yes, it's easy, but also it's a little bit technical. You get to do anything. It's versatile. That's the thing about splice. Is it clear to everybody? Is it clear? So now I'm not able to time to just write this code and then maybe I can also introduce us to array iteration with what for each. Okay, I think I'll do this after we've done loops. Yes, I'll do this after we've done loops, so it's easier. So I'm going to introduce us to um objects. Right now, I cannot go over all of this, so I still expect us to go ahead and try and touch all of these things. So again, do the exercises here. This is like our. I'm not even touching the tech do this thing. This is like our guide. You understand? Use this. You see this front end roadmap.sh is like the best thing to ever happen to developers. Trust me. If you can follow these text, it's going to take time. I'm not going to lie to you. It can take 6 months. But if you can follow all of these things, and you have a mentor, trust me, your programming life is definitely going to change. Trust me. So this is your guide. Follow it with your heart, please. So go ahead, try out this multidimensional array. So it's just like it's like a matrix. So this is for those that are interested in going into much more deeper concepts. Now you can use this for game development, depending on the part you want to do. But we're into what web development, so you can still skip this for now. And although it's something that you might want to also try out, you can still skip this. But you can go into you can do your practical exercises. So to do this with an array, I'm very, very sure that you should be able to do this. So go through this practical exercise. Now, this practical exercise, they'll actually solve certain things for you. You understand how they solved it, and then they will now give you your own exercise to do. So follow the exercise. Do the same that they did. Understand it. If you don't understand anything, reach out to me. You understand? If nobody reaches out to me concerning these things, I know that nobody did. There is a reason why I'm telling you to do it, because I know that there is no way you will say you want to do any exercise on your own, and then you will not reach out to me, except you use AI. You understand? And even if you use AI, if you are really interested in learning and you want to understand it, you will always reach out to me, because AI will not explain it. So please do this thing. Again, I already know I'm going to catch you. If you do not do it, nobody will reach out to me. That's the thing. Okay, what if you understand it, Abby? Okay. I'm telling you that there is no way. See, you can understand 70%, 80%. That's good. For that 20%, you will still be a little bit confused. Okay, now that's what I'm saying. You will definitely reach out to me. If you try it out, you will reach out to me. Because why? I did not go over some things there. So, except, okay, of course, we can still use Google. It's fine. Use Google. But if you know it out to me, I'll still know. Don't worry. So try and do this out. So let me just give us time to write this code, and then